Welcome to Meaningfulness, Engineering Purpose in a Complex World podcast series. I'm Djeff B., Principal Architect at Meaningfulness Media Group, where we build rigorous frameworks to uncover objective meaning through authentic connection, ethical systems thinking, and responsible stewardship in an age of AI and informational chaos. If you're seeking evidence-based insights on philosophy, psychology, and human flourishing, you're in the right place. Let's begin.
Let's face it, in the new age of AI, figuring out who or what created something is getting really complicated. That's why a new proposal is trying to bring some clarity. It's called the Authorship Transparency Statement Framework, and it's basically an attempt to build a shared language for this wild new creative world we're all living in. You've probably heard this question a lot lately, right? You see it in comment sections, you hear it in meetings. But as AI becomes just another tool in the toolbox, is a simple yes or no really the right way to ask the question anymore? Does it even begin to tell the whole story? Well, according to the people behind this framework, the answer is a big, fat no. They call it a low-resolution question for a high-resolution reality. And honestly, that just nails it. The way humans and machines are working together now is so complex that a simple yes or no answer just doesn't work. And the fact that we don't have a better way to talk about it is actually causing some pretty serious problems. So here's how we're going to break this all down. We're going to start with this idea of a transparency paradox that the whole system is designed to fix. Then we'll get into its core idea, this thing called the bright line principle. We'll see how that simple rule creates a whole spectrum of authorship and even lets us measure how much AI was used. And finally, we'll see how it all works in the real world and what it might mean for the future of creativity itself. Okay, first up, let's really dig into the problem this thing is trying to solve. Why is our current way of talking about AI's role in creative work actually making things worse? So right now, if you're a creator, you're stuck with these super vague, unhelpful labels. Platforms, even copyright offices, they ask if your work is AI-assisted or AI-generated, but what does that even mean? They don't give you any clear definition for where one stops and the other starts. Is using an AI to check your grammar the same as having it write a whole chapter for you? The rules just don't say. And all that confusion leads to what the framework calls a transparency paradox. It's this bizarre situation where, because the labels are so bad and so unclear, creators are actually pushed to hide how they work instead of being open about it. And that, of course, completely erodes trust, not because of the AI, but because we literally don't have the right words to talk about it honestly. So, to fix all this, the ATS Framework starts with one really simple but powerful foundational idea. It's an objective rule that's designed to just cut right through all that subjective mess. And this is the genius of it. The framework's solution is to totally shift the focus. Forget about subjective questions like, who had creative control? Instead, it introduces an objective, bright line. And it's based on one simple mechanical question. Who or what wrote the first draft of the words on the page? This bright line immediately creates two crystal clear categories. On one side, you've got reactive use. That's where a human writes the text first, and the AI is just a tool to help refine it or maybe analyze it. But the moment the AI generates that first draft from a prompt, you've crossed the line. You're now in the world of generative use. It's that simple. Human first or AI first. Okay, so once you have that one simple rule, you can start to build a whole system on top of it. A full, high-resolution spectrum that really shows what the creative partnership looks like. So the framework lays out 6 tiers, all the way from ATS 0 to ATS 5, and each number basically represents a bigger role for the AI in the process. It gives us a way more nuanced picture than just yes or no. And even the names, artisan, architect, director, they give you a real feel for how the human's role changes along the way.
And these analogies just make the different roles so clear. At ATS 1, you're an architect, using AI to help you build out your own work. By ATS 3, you're more of a director. You're giving a detailed outline, and the AI is generating the scenes for you. And then you get to the far end, ATS 5, where you're a patron. You're just giving a high-level concept and basically commissioning the work, kind of like a Medici commissioning a painting.
But of course, knowing the type of collaboration is only half the story. I mean, what if you're an author and you used AI to generate just one single paragraph in a 500-page book? For that, the framework adds another layer of detail, which is really clever. And this is the E scale. The E stands for extent. It's just a simple add-on that tells you exactly what percentage of the final text started out as an AI draft. So you can see right away if it was just a tiny micro use or if AI was the dominant source of the words. So when you put it all together, you get a statement that's incredibly clear, concise, and really informative. Something like text ATS-2 E1 tells you instantly, okay, this was a co-creative process, but the part drafted by AI was minimal, somewhere between 1 and 10% of the final work. Just like that, all the ambiguity is gone. Okay, so I know what you might be thinking. A tiered system with a percentage scale sounds a little, academic. But the whole point of the framework is that it's designed to be super practical for actual creators to use. It gives you a simple checklist that pretty much works like a decision tree. You just answer a few really straightforward questions about how you worked, and boom, it guides you to your exact ATS level. No guesswork involved. It's meant to be objective and easy. And the whole goal is to get to a standardized, human-readable statement like this one for ATS-2. It's clear, it's honest, and it describes what you did without judging it. Anyone, from a reader to a publisher to a collaborator, can understand exactly what happened.
So let's just zoom out for a second and think about the big picture here. Why go through all this trouble to create this new technical standard? What's the real endgame?
This quote from the paper, for me, this gets right to the heart of it. This isn't about making rules to punish people or to shame them for using AI. It's about empowerment. It's about giving creators a precise, neutral language to just name their process, to describe it honestly and clearly. So ultimately, by getting rid of those confusing yes or no boxes and replacing them with a clear spectrum, the whole point of this framework is to build a new foundation of trust. It's a standard way to talk about how things are made, creating a shared language for this completely new era of human-machine creativity. And that really leaves us with one last, fascinating question to chew on. When we can clearly and honestly describe the process behind any piece of creative work, how does that change our relationship with it? How does it change what we value in human authorship itself, and where we look to find the soul in a work of art?
That's all for this episode. Thank you for joining me on this exploration. If these ideas resonate, continue your journey toward objective meaning and authentic connection at meaningfulness.com.au, where you'll find materials and resources to engineer purpose in your life. Until next time, let's build something meaningful.